Okay, let's start with Fuji. I wanted to do an image of the three girls on some kind of a pilgrimage, and I made this little drawing, and I tried to make this road out of apples, yellow brick road style. My perspective drawing was just bad enough that when they saw it, they thought it wasn't a perspective, but it was a mountain of apples.
Then we started thinking of, okay, a mountain of apples. Well, Fuji, that's like, you know, the perfect apple to relate to that story.
But eventually it got around to triggering this idea that this picture was going to be about taking a vacation. And Sarah came back with a sketch that slayed me. This landscape, very Dali-esque, of apples close up and apples in the distance and travelers and desert landscape.
I think the combination of those things makes it this surreal, idealistic world that you really can't reach.
So Fuji is first. This is where, actually the order of them I find funny because I chose it partly, I chose it. I kind of like, when I was scheduling, is like, somebody's gotta make a choice what order we do these in, and I'm gonna make the choice. And Fuji was made first purely for logistical reasons because it had many layers that were gonna have to be shot, and the first few of them involved no people. There's the background, there's the apples, the different sizes of apples, and then there's the women with the costumes. And Allison, poor Allison, arrived, I think it was the same day, arrived and was already being asked to put the women in costumes.
When I was introduced to Fuji, what I was sort of told is that it was going to be a sort of a vintage travel advertisement, using the triplets as sort of bathing beauties.
So you want it to be like way out, like really turned around then?
Yeah, my hand doesn't have to face out like this now, it can go straight forward.
I got it.
Once you get the outfit on, you feel that character, and then you do the things that makes the most sense with that character, along with, you know, Carrie and Marie's directing. That's what feels the most natural.
We had this sort of all-day parade of ideas. It was just like the girls would go downstairs, they'd put on a bathing suit. We'd come up and go, oh my God, that's amazing, what can we do with that? Tried making the apples into looking like cups with little umbrellas, and had them sipping out of them. And in the end, we had way, way, way more than we needed.
This was our first real collaboration with all these different people, and I think it, you know, was a good kind of test. Everybody just had to start trusting each other because we had no time to doubt each other.
It's hard to imagine an image when you're looking at it on a screen that's like, you know, 14 by 12 or 17 by 12, I don't know what it is. But to look at these images on a screen and imagine them being 10 feet tall.
So we had this idea where they would be basically these little figures on all these giant apples, and when we were done shooting, I think the day after, you know, we composited all these things together, and it started to look like these ants on these giant apples. And everyone got a little bit concerned, is this powerful enough?
And so there were a couple accidents in which bringing in a file to composite it, a person would come in gigantic, and suddenly it was like, wow, what a dynamic picture, this giant human in the background.
I had come up with something, Babs came up with something, Babs and Marie came up with something, Sarah and Alicia came up with something.
And after a little while, we ended up just saying, table it, we can't deal with this until later, we have other shots to do.
And then came back to it again with fresh eyes to put it together. And some of the more radical ideas, I think, I still like. I miss them, but in seeing the final image in triptych form, I think it's pretty cool.